Welcome back from Thanksgiving Break Spectrum. I'm Marcus Grund.
And I'm Emily Dupp. Speaking of which, how did your break end up going, Marcus?
Super great. I had a great time seeing my family, going Black Friday shopping, all the good stuff.
Aren't you going to ask me how mine went?
Only if I get service hours for it. Remember that service hours are due at the end of the semester. Keep your eyes and ears open for the opportunities around school or community to complete your hours. If you have any confusion on what does or doesn't count for service hours, reach out to your service learning advisor.
As winter is knocking at our door, it's important to make sure you're doing your best to stay healthy and safe this season. Make sure to wash your hands before eating your food and to avoid touching your face often. Keep eating your fruits and vegetables throughout the winter season in order to keep all those helpful nutrients. Also, don't forget to stay hydrated.
But that's not the only way you should stay safe this winter. As Minnesotans, we know how slippery and unsafe the roads can be during the snowy season. Make sure that this is an account as you're planning your departure time for your house in order to ensure your safe travel to school and on-time arrival.
That's all the announcements we have for today, Spectrum. But I know Braden has some knowledge on sports ball. Why don't we go over to him?
G'day, Spectrum. This is your sports anchor, Braden Ashfield. Let's see what we have for sports. The winter sports season is underway with the first week of practice already over. Today, all three of our girls' basketball teams, varsity being led by senior captain Tara Gleason, have their home opener and season opener against Maple Lake. Friday, they will head to Malacca for another game. Friday, the boys' basketball team, led by senior co-captains Cole Elrod and Matt Cruz, return to the court for their season and home opener on Friday, hosting Rush City. Varsity wrestling heads to Trinity this Friday, and their first invitational on Saturday is in Edina. Let's have a good year and set some more records, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Braden Ashfield, Noise News. Now over to commercial.
Not too bad for my first marathon, if I do say so myself. Anyways, if you want to run marathons like me, if you're not in winter sport, you want to get fit and have fun with friends, you're in the Spectrum Winter Running Club. It's Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 3:30 to 5, right here at Spectrum. Thanks, guys.
Fantastic commercial, guys.
Hey Emily,
Yes, Marcus?
with Thanksgiving done and out of the way, the classic winter holidays are next to be tackled, but it seems that Spectrum had a head start on celebrating. A few weekends ago, Spectrum's theater presented A Christmas Carol. Let's tune into Tim and Paul with a bit more information on the play.
The Spectrum Performing Arts Group put on A Christmas Carol as their fall play. The cast for this crew is passionate about their production, as well as theater as a whole, each with their own experience levels.
I really like the arts, like theater, choir, and band, and I've done plays before. This will actually be my 7th play here.
In the past, I have not been a mom. I've mostly been really whiny people, and now I have to be like really caring and gentle and nice. It's different.
Behind the production is an especially talented tech crew.
I do sound for tech. They do control the microphones and the speakers. Acting, you're actually in front of the audience, and tech, you're more doing behind the scenes instead of actually being on stage, being in front of the audience.
The show was directed by Mrs. Stelton. With her level of experience, she helped the production move along smoothly.
My experience with theater is involvement all through high school and in college. I almost minored in theater in college, but I ended up not. My minor in college was a music minor. And then when I started teaching in Arizona, I started directing at a junior high there where I was teaching, and then I've been directing here for 5 years.
This adaptation has some differences from the classic Carol we all know and love.
This adaptation is unique because it has Scrooge meeting his 3 ghosts, the past, present, and future ghosts. Earlier in the day, he goes to collect debts from them, and so he meets them and interacts with them in the marketplace, and then they come back to haunt him on Christmas Eve night. Some changes naturally happen as the kids start to find their characters and speak in a more natural way for them and their characters. We have a Scrooge who's playing his Scrooge as a little bit less crabby and more kind of standoffish and almost above everything else going on around him. And we chose to cast the Ghost of Christmas Present as a female, who's often played as a male. We have a surprise for our ignorance and want. We don't have two small children joining us on stage. We are using some theater magic for that.
The crew was very confident in the show, and they all knew the production was going to go great.
I think it'll be great. Like, all of the costumes are awesome, all the actors are really good, the transitions are working flawlessly.
I think it'll be good. I mean, we've been working really hard on it. We have a really nice set. Like, it's really pretty. 10 out of 10 for the set. We've been working really hard. I think it's gonna go great.
There's always some magic that happens, and it's exciting to see what happens when the house lights go off and the stage lights come on, and there's audience members and the kids get their adrenaline going.
This has been Tim and Paul for Noise News, signing off.
I'm so glad to hear that the play was such a cool experience for everyone that had a part in it.
It seems as though Spectrum had quite a lot of important events occurring.
Like the choir and band concert coming up at the beginning of December.
Or like Veterans Day event that happened on the 12th. In fact, why don't we head over to Emily and Kaylee's story on the event.
In honor of those who have served and are serving our country, Spectrum held its first Veterans Day program, with speakers like retired Sergeant John Fowle,
answered the call to defend their country without reservation.
And our own Mr. De Bruin.
We don't know them all, but we owe them all.
Highlighting the true importance of the celebration of Veterans Day.
The number one goal was to honor our veterans.
This is something for me. Teared up a couple times. I really liked just seeing people involved and seeing people really realizing how important the men and women who service really are.
I thought it was very special and very different from anything we've done in the past, just because it was so personal for me.
It kind of helped me to better realize how blessed I am, because I've known that prior, but this just really went in deeper for me, I think.
We've gotten quite a number of emails and communications from veterans, from staff, and even from students that were just really touched by the program and felt honored. So,
the importance and memory of a veteran is not unknown to many students, as many have brave relatives and loved ones who stood or stand for this country.
My brother works in the Army branch of the military.
My brother is currently serving in the Army National Guard. He's infantry, he's a specialist. I want to serve.
His name was Lieutenant James Kearns, first lieutenant when he left. He served in Vietnam from 69 to 70, led his platoon in, got wounded, called in the gunship, saved his men's lives, and didn't have to take his leg off, and he still has shrapnel on his leg today.
you won't find any better example of service to your community than those that are in the military. We would not live in this great country we live in and have the freedoms that we have without the sacrifices that they've made.
By definition, patriotism is love for or devotion to one's country, but patriotism means something and touches everyone in a slightly different way.
To me, being patriotic is getting to stand proud in the fact that I do have a family member serving in the military, and getting to stand proud in the fact that I get to realize the sacrifices.
Patriotism to me is just loving America for what it is, because we have so many opportunities here that not a lot of other people have.
Patriotism to me is respecting those fallen for our country, respecting each other, and also, most importantly, respecting God, because He ultimately gave us this country and blessed us with all that we have. Stand for our flag, respect our fallen comrades and our fallen heroes, and just be American.
Kaylee Clark and Emily Dopp, Noise News.
What a fantastic event that turned out to be. Again, a special thank you to everyone who has or is serving the United States military.
That's all we have for you this week, Spectrum. This has been Marcus Grund
and Emily Dopp, keeping you
in on the noise. Classic winter holidays are the next to be tackled, but it seems that Spectrum had a head start on Wait, no, I have an actual concern though. Why?
Everyone who has or is serving in the United States military.
That's all we have to use Spectrum.
You are so. Oh my god.
I'm trying.
We do this every